Hey, so what's up guys? So we've got about a week before November hits, and today we're sitting at about 80 degrees, but supposedly by Tuesday we're supposed to hit freezing and possibly even have some snow, and that's West Texas for you. We have a saying around here that you'll get frostbite and a sunburn all in the same day, and that's basically what we're going to have this week. And so my plan moving forward into the holidays is always to start working on some top dressing sand and try to get the surface kind of level and prepared for nieces and nephews to come over and have a good time. And so we're going to go ahead and work on that today. I want to go ahead and give it a mow. We're going to put out some top dressing sand because supposedly if you put sand out when you're going to have a hard freeze like that, it'll help protect the tips of your grass on a putting green and keep it from freezing and causing some of the damage. And you know, just keep it from kind of turning purple and kind of struggling. So we're going to go through that process. I'm going to show you guys my fertilizer spreader with the sand tray in it, and we'll go throw some top dress sand out here, show you guys a little bit what that's all about. But let's get out here, let's go give it a mow, and let's get started. So we came through here just to blow everything off right quick. We spent some time earlier going ahead and picking out all these acorns. They drop from these oak trees and just make a huge mess on the green. And so we just want to make sure we get all that cleaned out and blown off. That way, whenever we mow here in a minute, it doesn't knock the height of cut off. And also I don't want any of the debris on the green for when we do the top dress sand. That way it just doesn't trap any leaves or anything underneath that sand layer. That way we have a nice smooth putting surface. So now that that's all good and clean, let's go give it a mow. So I don't know how much of this you can see, but all this dirt, all these little holes like this, these are all worm castings. And so it's just like, I mean, it's like Swiss cheese on the green. It's just become a huge mess. And I know that'll go away. It's just the season, the worms are active and everything will start to settle down, but man, what a mess that makes. But hey, all things considering, I mean, everything's filled in really nice out here. We did the overseeding about a month ago. Some of these on the side, on our collars, are still coming in a little bit at a time. I just don't get a whole lot of sunlight over here throughout the day right now, this part of the year, so it's going to take a while. It'll probably be spring before I can get all this to fill in real nice, but it'll come in. So everything's looking pretty good down through here. You saw me use the seeding rake and do some overseeding right here where we had a little bit of damage from the verticut. It's all filling in pretty good. I mean, the green looks good, everything's healthy, except for all these holes I've got in it from the worms. But like I said, it'll go away, and this top dressing sand is going to make this thing look really nice. All right, so we're back over here where I keep my stash of top dressing sand in these trash cans just to keep it from getting wet, get debris in it, keep it clean. And so I want to show you guys this tray that I have. I've talked about this fertilizer spreader before that has interchangeable trays. I've done a whole detailed video about how all that works. If you want to check it out, I'll link to it here. But today I've got in the sand tray, and the way this thing works is it has a really large mouth, but it also has these fingers in here, and as you move the spreader forward, they actuate back and forth, and that's what keeps that sand flowing through there real smooth. And so really that's all there is to it. We're just going to load this hopper up, fill it up with sand. I think we'll probably do a hopper, maybe two of it. We'll just see how it goes, but that'll cover that 550 square foot I've got over there. And we just want to do kind of a thin layer of it, not really too thick, over aggressive with this like you see these guys doing with their yards. we're not going to do a big heavy top dress on a putting green. It's just a thin layer like you see on the golf course. And so that's what we're going to go for today. Alright, so you can see how easy that makes that for spreading sand, especially when it's dry like that. It flows so smooth. And so this layer we got going on down through the middle here, that's kind of what we want to see across everything. So I think I'm going to go load up in our hopper and do it one more time and just kind of see how that pans out. But when we're done with that, we're going to brush it all in, and this will all be nice and smooth here in a few weeks. So the last part of this is I built these set of brushes for this purpose right here. It brushes all that top dressing sand down into the turf canopy. It makes a really nice smooth surface. And that's what golf courses do. They'll drag these brushes around on the putting greens and get everything brushed in real good. It just makes a world of difference. So we're going to drag this in, and I'm going to show you how slick this is. Alright, so let you see how these brushes brush all that sand in there. So it just kind of builds up on the front edge and just sweeps it all in there. And so it fills all the holes, divots, things like that, especially those acorns. And so you can see behind it, you got sand in front of you, but then behind it, it brushes it all in. This thing works pretty good. And so you guys would probably notice that throughout the summer there's been a hard ridge down through here that when I mow, it kind of scalps a line down through the center of this. And that's because last year when all this died, I had to till up all this section right through here. And so it left a real hard edge down through here. So that's why I left the sand heavy right here. So I'm gonna take this broom and try to kind of even that out and kind of fill that gap in there to kind of keep that ridge from building up. Hopefully it'll smooth that out and we won't have it anymore, and the mower will mow correctly right through there. So, you know, if you don't have those brushes, you can always just use a push broom. This is a soft bristle broom. That way you don't damage the turf, but either way, it all works out just fine. can show you what it looks like with the push broom too. It leaves a real smooth surface as well. And so that's going to be it for doing the top dressing on the putting green. So in a week or so, this will all be gone, or it'll be covered in snow. I don't know which is going to happen this week, but that top dressing sand makes a huge difference. It just fills in all the gaps and all the holes from the squirrels that have dug over the years, the birds picking at the worms, worm castings, the nuts falling out of the trees, you name it. All the things that have happened over the summer. That's just going to help, you know, fill everything in. It's going to give us a nice smooth surface. And you know, we may need to do it again in a couple more weeks. We'll see how it goes, but typically one application works out pretty well. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this one. I just wanted to stop for a minute and just thank those of you that have dropped comments, that have sent me emails. That's what makes doing all this enjoyable. It's a lot of fun to interact with you guys. So please, if you got questions, you know, reach out to me. I love talking shop with you guys. I love talking about lawn care and everything that you guys, you know, want to know about. Guys, if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to our channel if you would like this video. But I think that's going to do it for this one, guys. We'll see you in the next one.